Hi, it's Liz with Big Tex Worms, and today I'm going to do a short little video tutorial on how to feed your worms your produce scraps and make it a little bit easier for you. First thing you do is simply to collect your scraps, and what I have always done is you just collected my scraps in a Ziploc bag or in a container in the refrigerator. That way I could seal it off and it would reduce fruit flies. So rather than just taking your scraps out to your bin daily, this is my suggestion, is just to collect your scraps in either like a quart size or a gallon size Ziploc bag. Very simple. And then weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, you can do this. You just collect your scraps over a week, or over 2 weeks, or over a month, and then you chop up all your scraps. I use a food processor. This is actually my small food processor that attaches to my blender, but I have a large food processor as well. Or you can hand chop it. The benefit of chopping your scraps is multifaceted. First of all, the worms will eat it faster because it will decompose quicker whenever you chop it up. And then also just chopping it helps reduce space and for storage and everything. So chopping it's really good. It also helps to mix it up. So you're going to chop it up as small as possible. That's why I use a food processor. Then after you've gotten it all chopped up, I just put everything into a bowl and mix it up really good with your hands. And I have found that it sticks together better if you mix up at least one banana in there with it, because the next step it'll understand. So just using a banana in there will help hold it together. But you want to mix it all up, especially if you're using citrus in there. Because, as you know, the citrus can be a little bit acidic, and so it's better to mix it all up than to just put a whole orange or a big old chunk of pineapple into your bin. So this way you're mixing it, and you can chop your eggshells and everything all together in there. So then the next step is to form the food scraps into a ball, and that's why I was saying the banana helps to hold it together. And for like a bin that has about a pound of worms in it, what I found is about the size, just a little bit smaller than a tennis ball. So about 3/4 of a cup of scraps is what I found to be the best size. So you form it into balls, and then you just stick, and like you could see that I have those on a cookie sheet, and then you just stick the cookie sheet into the freezer and you freeze the balls on the cookie sheet, and then you stick them back into your food storage bag and you store them in the freezer in the balls, and then they store for forever, probably 6 months or longer. And then as you need to feed, you just take one of your frozen balls out, you stick it in your worm bin, you cover it with your food scraps, and you're done. So you don't spread it out, you just leave it clumped up in a ball just like that, and you stick it right down in your bin, or you bury it in your bin. And the reason you want to either bury it or you want to cover it with paper shreds is because it will reduce the fruit flies. Couple tips about this method is, of course, don't spread it out because it'll heat the bin. If it's frozen, it's going to take them a couple days to eat it, so just keep that in mind. The awesome thing about this method is that freezing it kills the fruit fly larvae that might be on it, so it will help reduce fruit flies, just the whole freezing process, and it'll help it decompose a lot quicker. Some other tips about this method, and just feeding in general, is of course you're only going to feed when all the food from your previous feed is gone. So remember from my website that overfeeding is a big problem. And then you're going to cover food with paper shreds, like I said before, to reduce fruit flies, or other bedding materials like your coconut coir or peat moss or whatever. If your worms have not begun to eat all the food ball after 3 to 4 days, then you might have some too much acidic stuff in there. So you would just take it out and either mix it in with some other foods or throw it in your compost pile, your regular compost pile. So that's about it for this video. Just remember to visit my website, bigtexworms.com, and for more tips. You can also buy worms on my website, and I also have an online worm composting class that's pretty much all inclusive. Be sure to sign up for my newsletter on the website. That's how I alert you of my videos coming out, and just I send out emails about monthly through growing season just to give you tips on worm composting throughout the year. And then also I have a forum that's a very active forum that you can join to ask questions about worm composting. So I hope this video helps you, and happy worming!